Hey everyone, Jason Hill here, and I'm getting ready to prepare a green bean casserole that uses all things fresh. No canned green beans, no canned soup. This is a Thomas Keller recipe, who is the world-renowned chef that has his famous restaurant, French Laundry, up in Yountville, California. I've been there, haven't been able to dine there, unfortunately, but it's really cool. He's got a nice fresh garden, and he has a few other restaurants right there in the area that are really good and easier to get into. But anyway, let me show you what I got going on, and let's get started. Okay, I have 2 pounds of fresh green beans, and these ones already came trimmed. I didn't have to take off the ends. And we have 12 ounces of just regular button mushrooms. We have 3 whole shallots, 2 cups of canola oil, and about 8 to 10 sprigs of thyme leaves. Thomas's recipe calls for 2 cloves of garlic, but I'm using a heaping teaspoon of my garlic shallot puree. Over here we have sherry vinegar, a tablespoon and a half. You need a little bit of white pepper, some kosher salt, and then 1 3/4 cups of whipping cream, heavy cream, and about a half a cup of flour for dusting our shallots. Okay, you can see my stock pot is about 3/4 of the way full with boiling water. I'm adding a couple pinches of salt to that, and now we're going to put in our green beans. And we're only going to boil these. I'm at a higher altitude, so I'm going to boil these for about 3 minutes. Okay, after a few minutes of boiling, we're going to transfer the beans to the ice bath that I have set up over here. I'm just taking my slotted spoon, and we're going to shock the green beans into the ice water. Make that color pop. Just be careful when you're doing this. You don't want to splatter hot water on you. And be careful of the steam as well. That steam can catch you off guard. I've had more steam burns in my time than anything else. Safety first. Okay, after they soaked and cooled down, I'm just going to put them in a colander and let them drain. You can even pat them dry with a paper towel a little bit. And now we can set these aside and get on with the rest. Okay, let's make up the mushrooms. All right, I've got my saute pan preheating. We're going to pour in about 3 tablespoons of the oil. Get your pan nice and coated. And we're just going to drop in the mushrooms. You want to cook these down probably 8 to 10 minutes. Recipe says till they're kind of browned. All right, after about 8 minutes, you can see they're browning up. Look how wonderful these look. I'm going to go ahead and scoop in the garlic and shallot puree, stir that around, let that cook off about another minute. Oh my gosh, the aroma. Look at how wonderful these mushrooms look. Oh yeah. You can eat them just like that. All right, after about another minute or so, got that garlic in there. We're going to go ahead and pour in our heavy cream. And let's drop in our thyme sprigs. Okay, this is going to go for about another 8 to 10 minutes. We're going to reduce the amount of cream, so we're going to leave the lid off. We're going to let that cook down to about half. But you got to keep your eye on this because you don't want it to boil up and boil over all over your stove. Then you'll look like you don't know what you're doing. All right, while the cream is reducing, let's go ahead and slice up our shallots. You can just do little rings, thinly sliced. And this is going to be our topping, our garnish for this wonderful casserole. So after we slice them up, we're just going to dredge them into the flour. After you drop them in the flour, you might want to pick them up and break them apart so you get more volume. Okay, after you've broken them apart and coated them. I just transfer them to a little sifter. Okay, we've been simmering here for about 10 to 12 minutes, and it's definitely gone down, probably by about half, and that's what we want. I'm going to press that thyme, get a little more flavor, because we're actually going to fish that out of here. And you can just discard that. We're not going to reuse any of that. After your mushroom and cream mix reduces, let it sit on the stovetop for a few minutes to cool down, and then we're going to transfer it to a blender. And you want to use your rubber spatula and get as much of that cream in there as possible. And the consistency, you're going to want it to be like a thick pea soup. So if it's too thick, if we've reduced it too much, we can always add a little more cream. Now we're going to go ahead and season it with a pinch of salt, maybe about a half a teaspoon. And then maybe about a quarter teaspoon of the white pepper. And then followed by our tablespoon and a half of sherry vinegar. So at this point, you're going to want to give it a little taste test. Move your spoon in there. Oh, wow. Whoa. Yummy. Let's finish it up. Okay, now we've taken the green beans, put them in a large bowl, and we're just going to pour our creamy mushroom mix and coat these beans. Just kind of fold them. You don't want to go in there and stir too crazy. Kind of get down from the bottom, and there we go. Just let those kind of sit for a little bit. Let's make our garnish. Unfortunately, my deep fryer died, so we are going to go ahead and fry these up in the pan. And you want your oil to be about 300, 325. And if you don't have a thermometer, you can always take the end of a wooden spoon or some other item, and you see how those bubbles run away? That's some hot oil right there. We're ready. I'm going to do the whole batch. We got enough room in there. 2 to 3 minutes until they're nice and crispy. And I'm just going to go and use my slotted spoon to catch these. Drain them on a paper towel. And we are almost ready for the oven. After they've cooled to the touch, I'm just going to sprinkle them throughout the casserole. Simple but delicious. Still have to break some of them apart. Now we're just going to place it in the preheated oven at 400 degrees Fahrenheit for about 25 minutes or until it's golden brown. Oh yeah. It's been in the oven now for 25 minutes, so let's take it out. I went ahead and put some foil over it the last 10 minutes because it was getting a little too brown. But it's definitely bubbling, and the smell smells like Thanksgiving. All right, time to take a bite. Cut me off some of these little green beans. Okay. Not as good. Really simple, fresh ingredients. Can't go wrong with this little easy green bean casserole by Thomas Keller. I'd like to thank Thomas Keller, and as always, thank you. Thanks for tuning in.